just be a summer reading retirement and it'll work in some other way. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, can I get a nurse?
You have to keep it. It's my favorite book.
Well then.
Yeah.
It's so good.
All right. We left off yesterday with antithesis. So remember, with antithesis, we had contrasting or juxtaposing statements written in parallel form. So we had our one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. I think we were also mentioning A Tale of Two Cities, at which point many of you just went into sad depression.
I loved that. Severe depression. I loved it.
I liked it too.
Some of you went into sad depression,
No, I'm
but with the best of times and the worst of times.
Tried to be
With antithesis, the idea is that contrast is something that you are certainly trying to emphasize a little bit more than others. Now, this always kind of surprises me anytime we go over, whether it be like the quiz that we do on Friday or midterm exam, when we kind of go over a lot of terminology. People constantly are getting alliteration and assonance confused with one another. I don't know if it's they go, I don't need to look over the definition, I remember it, or if they see repetition of a sound and they go automatically alliteration. But it always surprises me how many people still get those two confused. So alliteration, which was like the first one we did, with the Wizard of Oz, the clinking, clanking collection of polygamous junk, you have that repetition of the consonant sound at the beginning of the word. For assonance, it is repetition of the stressed vowel sound. It doesn't have to be at the beginning of the word. It doesn't have to be the first letter by any means. But the stressed vowel sound would be assonance. I don't want to call it a cheater form of assonance, but an easy form of assonance would be like words that rhyme. So, if they are rhyming words, the vowel sound is what rhymes. And so those would kind of constitute assonance. You really, honestly, within a speech, probably not going to use this a whole lot as a point of emphasis because I don't think your audience picks up on it as well to do with the alliteration. Poetry is where you tend to find it a little bit more so. Edgar Allan Poe is big with it. T.S. Eliot is pretty big when it comes to his poetry. Taking it for you next year. When he starts talking about T.S. Eliot, just shut down. Don't even bother. Save yourself. No, it's got to be disrespectful. Yes, so.
I'll do that.
Yes, Elliot. Yes, the again.
Great.
So uncertain, purple, curtain. You're getting the sound. Uncertain, purple, curtain. So it doesn't even have to be the U that is repeating, because over here it would be the ER, not the UN, where you're getting certain, purple, curtain. Again, I doubt this is one that you're really going to emphasize or use a whole lot. Back when the O.J. Simpson trial was going on, one of the famous lines with regards to the gloves was, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. And there you can kind of see the rhyming effect taking place, but it fit, acquit. And then all your teachers who were like 40 and over, their favorite movie, Top Gun. I feel the need for speed. Roll the clip. Carrick, have you ever been like Goose or Maverick or Iceman for Halloween? Nope. I could see you and Nick doing this next year.
What?
One of you be Maverick, one of you be Goose. I'd say Nick has more than Maverick.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely Goose.
Yeah.
I was Goose for 1 year.
You were Goose?
I think. I don't know who I was. They came from I was one of them.
All right, climax. Yesterday we had one of our A terms. Our dinosaur term, you could argue, has some climactic elements to it. The anadiplosis, that was the one where you have at the end of one line, you repeat the same word at the beginning of the next. So you were, what was your song? That took you like all period to remember?
Glad you came.
There you go. You can use anadiplosis as climax, and I would say the Yoda example would probably be a good one for that, with fear leading to anger, anger leading to hate. For climax, you are building up phrases, clauses in order of increasing importance. So sometimes people will use anadiplosis as a way to link them. Here is a Shakespeare sonnet where it does not have anadiplosis, but you still see the climactic build of words, phrases, clauses in increasing importance. So beauty is but a vain and doubtful good, a shining gloss that fadeth suddenly, a flower that dies when it first begins to bud, a brittle glass that's broken presently, a doubtful good, a glass, a flower, lost, faded, broken, dead within an hour. So all of this builds up to the big climactic sign of dead within an hour. So you could have, if you had a quiz with examples, you could sometimes have something that could be both climactic and anadiplosis. But this one obviously would not be able to work as anadiplosis because you don't have that repetition necessarily taking place. Eric, remember how to say all the other A words?
No.
We'll figure it out. And a tablet. He's still blown from his interview that he had.
Oh
Yes, we
yeah,
did.
those two questions. It's difficult for that -5 IQ.
Pre-game ritual. What was your song?
Crazy Train.
That's right. You went Baby Shark?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, parallelism. Similar structure in a pair or series of related words, phrases, clauses. This can certainly be a form of repetition, like you would have here, where you could argue this would be an aphra. We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. But it doesn't always have to be just a repetition of a word. It certainly can be repetition of structure. So from grammatically, you could be going noun, subject, and then some type of specific verb, and then a direct object could be kind of repeating over and over. I have an example that'll come after this one that kind of illustrates that point. But parallel structure, parallelism, both of those things would end up being the same if you use parallel structure as a term as well. But similar phrasing, structuring of the clauses and the sentences. So John F. Kennedy, let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and success of liberty. So verb, any, and then the concept coming after with price, burden, hardship, friend, foe. Still have repetition of any, but you don't have the anaphora or the epistrophe kind of idea, but more of just the parallel structure, same type of grammatical setup, repeating throughout the whole entire, not the whole entire, but throughout a large portion of the text. I should get a rocking chair. Put it right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Jen is shaking her head no. Why? Yeah.
Get one of those like trampoline chairs.
You'd be too
No.
condescending in a rocking
It's
chair.
like the one that has like.
I just have to cut it out.
It's not like I need a rocking chair to be condescending.
No, but you need more
Yeah.
condescending.
Can't smoke a pipe, that would be against school regulation. Rocking
So
chair,
we
pipe,
just into the conversation.
fireplace in the background. All right, so our first group were schemes, where that was the altering the arrangement of words. Trope is when we are going to change the ordinary or primary meaning of a word or phrase. Essentially, for more often than not, it's a type of figurative language. So it's going to have the literal meaning plus a more abstract meaning going along with it, but schemes and tropes. Scheme and trope can show up on the quiz that we'll do on Friday. So to understand the difference between those two, scheme, syntax, you can kind of think of schemes as the type of repetition, and then trope going to be more the figurative language, a simile, metaphor kind of thing taking place. Katie, do you have power back?
I do have good period.
So you don't have like your 20-foot charging cable? Okay. That's a dangerous weapon.
Long
Not a trope. but worthy of our attention anyway.
Oh, yes! 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 We got it, baby! We got it! We got it! Woo! Woo!
We got it. Julia, where's the excitement? We got it.
We got it! Yes!
Wait, what did
Listen to that! Listen to that! Oh, baby! Oh, again! Again! That's a twofer! That's a twofer, baby!
Twofer.
Yes!
Twofer.
That's a twofer! Twofer, baby! Oh my goodness! Yes! Yes! Again! That's a three! You gotta be kidding me! You gotta be kidding me! Parrot! Oh my god! The winds have really picked up and through here. And there's another one! That's number... You gotta be kidding me!
Now watch, he has to compose himself.
He used to collect his
Wow! You can have your $500 million jackpot in Powerball or whatever the heck it was, but I'll take this, baby. Four lightning strikes, 4 episodes of Thunder Snow. I can. So we had another one. So we had strikes, 5 thunder. I mean, this is just a total change. Literally within an hour. Was that another one? Was that? Oh my good, dude, that's number 6. You gotta be kidding me.
That's 3 twofers.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is Chicago. Postel, this is Chicago all over again. We're just sitting in the middle of it.
all over again?
He's 1.5.
Hashtag it's amazing.
Find joy in your life, Julia. Find something you're passionate about.
Wait, so I love this. Who is he?
Well, why not? Because it was like just
It is funny.
wonderful. Because it was a twofer. Because you know what? We're going to do a twofer. First we did schemes, now we're doing tropes. Twofers. Twofer. Got to remember that as an excuse. All right, metaphor. And I bet you can guess what the next one's going to be. So metaphor, we're going to follow by simile. I think definition, we're pretty clear here. Implied comparison between two things. We don't use like or as, but you're tending to make more of a direct comparison. So as opposed to going that it is hot, you could be saying the flames of hell set us ablaze in August. That player is aggressive. That player is an animal. Nick, if you were to describe Carrick as an animal,
Yes.
what animal would you go with?
Grizzly.
Grizzly. That's a stark contrast. Grizzly, bunny rabbit. Carrick, what would you use to describe Nick?
I'd go with a platypus.
Platypus.
Yeah. Because he's like a very rare.
Did you say Byron's an ostrich or a giraffe?
Giraffe.
I feel like he's kind of like.
They're almost coming in.
Grant, did you know that all men turn into either a bird or a turtle as you get in old age?
No, he's the bird from.
You'll be a bird. I'm going to be a turtle.
Kevin. That's
You're
why-
on the fence. You could go either way.
Next to Tom. I thought
Emmy's a peacock because she was best dressed.
Ever since I saw that Zootopia movie, I've always like thought,
whoa, chill.
All right, so in Bill Clinton's inaugural address, you're not done with the definition yet? Come on, I was like
You too busy
stalling.
asking me questions.
So you can multitask.
Not really.
Good. Because most people think they can, so I'm glad you can. You can admit that. That's good. I'll go back to it here in a second. So President Clinton's initial inaugural address, the ceremony is held in the depth of winter, but by the words we speak and the faces we show the world, we force the spring, a spring reborn in the world's oldest democracy. Oh, Ben, you missed it. You missed a twofer.
I don't know what that means, but I'm upset.
I don't know what Ben will be when he gets old, if he'll be a bird or a turtle.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
I went to a premonition.
we all hit that point at the same time. Good.
So what's a bird and what's a turtle?
Another metaphor coming from Vice President at the time, Al Gore. At the dawn of spring last year, a single act of terror brought forth the long, cold winter in our hearts with the Oklahoma City bombing that took place back in 1994 or 5.
Today, right?
Yeah. I was a freshman in high school.
Do you know if you do 2 pints of which of those
Simile, explicit comparison between two things of unlike nature. So this is going to be using the like or as. So Dante would be saying it's hot as hell in here, or that player is like a scared mouse out there. I wonder if we have any mice in here. No, I don't think we have mice. What animal are you? I did just order water.
If I was a cat,
I don't know. It'll probably hit me sometime later today. I'll think about it. Let you know at lunch.
Great, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Well, might still be running. I'm thinking something reptile-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like a snake.
No.
I'm actually weird.
I think Jen is an owl. An owl. Jen is an owl. Hyperbole. Use of exaggerated terms for purpose of emphasis or heightened effect. So again, not just coming up with some kind of crazy exaggeration, but just certainly trying to emphasize a certain point. So Holden Caulfield, I have a lot of gray hairs. I really do. The one side of my head, the right side, is full of millions of gray hairs. Probably a little bit of an exaggeration. I am just having a moment.
He also thinks you're a phone.
You don't know that.
He was in a mental hospital.
1949, he was born 1932.
That is true. It took him. I do. My
What
parents
on
are
earth
downtown.
did you just say? She said
And my driver's up So she gave me 3 tile, which seems like a lot.
No Tums?
What?
No, you can take more than 2.
I took 3, and she's like, this is the same thing as 2 It's a big figure of 100. Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
I remember in elementary school when I used to say, I had to say
All right, now, analogy,
it's always just so
which certainly we've used the term, you've used the term before. Analogy can be either extended metaphor or a long simile, okay? It doesn't have to be just one or the other. Essentially, if you do a one-time comparison, it's going to be a simile or a metaphor. I would say if and even though you can be doing like a spoken, oral presentation, spoken word, but the same as like the equivalent of a paragraph. If you keep going back to this comparison multiple times, at that point you are now making an analogy. Generally speaking, the analogy you use more often to try to make your audience better understand a significant or important concept. So if you're trying to figure out, am I using a simile or a metaphor or an analogy, or which of these would this example be, if it's a one-time example, then it's going to go to simile or metaphor. But if it's something that you keep going back to within, again, like the equivalency of a paragraph, at that point you're probably looking at it. So if you're trying to take something complex and make a comparison for your audience to better understand. At that point, it would be an analogy. But I think some people feel like an analogy has to be extended metaphor. It can also be, but just like a long sentence that you keep going back to. Ferret.
I agree.
Yeah.
Ferret or
Like a huge fairy tale.
no, not weasel. The muskrat.
Oh.
Like a horse ferret, though.
Like a really long, like a skinny, wily probably like a
No,
bear.
she's a bear. Like, I don't know why.
I see a kangaroo. I see brown bear.
Dude, I want kangaroo. Do you think it'd be illegal to feed a kangaroo?
I'm a koala.
Have you ever seen the video of the guy who swears up the kangaroo? The greatest video I've ever seen.
Wait, I feel like mine would be a sloth.
All right, so even though we don't have extended metaphor, lengthy comparison, what we do have though is taking a concept and trying to make it more understandable. So Bono, U2, wishing for an end to AIDS and extreme poverty in Africa is like wishing that gravity didn't make things so heavy. We can wish it, but what can we really do about it? Pardon? Oh, he's probably done that multiple times. But yeah, I think that one of their Live Aid type concerts. He's also done things where, like, every time I clap on stage, a child in Africa dies. At which point, people yell, "Stop clapping then." Vince Vaughn describing working with Owen Wilson. I feel a little guilty about winning an award because it's not that hard of a thing to do. When you work with someone like Owen Wilson, I kind of feel like a jockey on the back of a great racehorse like Secretariat. My job is to just hold on. I don't like Owen Wilson.
I liked him in Marley, and that's it.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Don't watch dog.
I like
Marley, I mean? No.
Don't watch it.
I literally like
Oh my god, like literally
Personalization. When we do the next speech assignment and you have the requirement to incorporate some examples of eloquence, personalization is one that a lot of times people will use, and it's one a lot of times that people will use incorrectly. So to personalize does not simply mean that you use I, me, my, or incorporate people that you know into the speech. But it's you are incorporating yourself in a significant manner. So sometimes people will go, like, I truly believe that ... Just because you go, I truly believe something, doesn't mean you are using personalization because you are using a first person pronoun. So to personalize something, you are putting your own life experiences or people that you are very close to, bringing them into the speech in some kind of personal context. So when Martin Luther King is talking about, his dream, I have a dream, just the fact that he says, I have a dream wouldn't really be the personalization, but it would be more that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they'll be not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That would be really the example of personalization with my 4 little children. Just the fact that you go, I have a dream in itself wouldn't be personalization, but bringing in his family would. Notice you also have alliteration taking place because you're using important terms with color, skin, content of their character, and also some parallelism taking place there too with the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. So you can certainly have multiple forms of eloquence being utilized at the same time.
Did he write his own speech?
As far as I know, yeah.
Just checking. I was just checking to make sure he was.
Yeah, that's not. I wonder who the last president was that wrote his own speech.
JFK, probably. Yeah.
Could be George Washington for all we know.
George, no, he
Or-
didn't even write his
Or I was going to say, it might not be any. All right, allusion, reference to previous work, historical event or person. It does not have to be an indirect allusion. You could use a direct allusion, indirect, where you don't clearly state what you're referring to, but it can be figured out. So, if someone are making reference to, I forget which one we were looking at, the people were talking about the pursuit of happiness. I think with the government regulating well-being, that's something that Jenna did. Jenna was making an allusion to the Declaration of Independence. She didn't say, in the Declaration of Independence, it promises us life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. If she did, either way, it would still be an allusion. Direct allusions, you're making that connection pretty clear. An indirect allusion, I think some people like maybe more so, but you have to be sure that your audience is going to understand what that indirect allusion is. So if I were to start off class with, hey, today's going to be the best of times, but it's also going to be the worst of times, some of you would be like, oh, he's alluding to Charles, or Dickens.
I'd say-
If,
To Charlie do.
but some folks who have not read the book would go, oh, what are you talking about? So you just have to make sure that if you go with that indirect allusion, that you provide enough context that they would know. So this one, direct allusion, Thomas Jefferson believed that to preserve the very foundations of our nation, we should need dramatic change from time to time. By him calling out Thomas Jefferson directly, that's how we know we have a direct allusion taking place. Imagery and sensory words. A lot of times this is going to get used with pathos, an emotional appeal that's being made. So words that appeal to the senses to help create pictures in the audience's mind. Keep in mind when you are doing senses, it does not simply just have to be what you see, but it also could be taste, touch, sound, feel.
So like the baby sea turtles.
Yes, that would be imagery, sensory words that Nicole was using in her debate. So for a half century, America defended our own freedom by standing watch on distant borders. After the shipwreck of communism came years of relative quiet, years of repose, years of sabbatical, and then there came a day of fire, in reference to 9/11. Yeah, well, and you could argue that you have allusions going on, that you also have like metaphors, taking place as well. But with this one, and any of those would certainly work. I think you still do have at least that image of being created, of standing watch, and then horrible day coming with day of fire. But yeah, you could go allusion. You could certainly go with metaphor. You could even argue analogy because of standing watch, shipwreck, all this stuff taking place.
Would this be like what MLK used when he was talking about the California, whatever it's not going to be? He said something about the planes or whatever.
He does when he, toward the end of the speech, talks about the rolling hills of Georgia and things like that. Yeah, that you'd have imagery taking place.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
What you're also going to have a lot too is a blend of both schemes and tropes. So when he's doing that, he's certainly using imagery, but you also have like parallel structure, parallelism taking place because he's going to all those different points. Tomorrow, when we take a look at the speech, we'll have examples where, you're not going to be here with you being at the assembly. Aiden could write something for one of the examples. Nick could write something else for the same exact example. Both could end up being true because of different types of repetition, figurative language that are all kind of getting used in there together. And that is the last one. So for Friday, remember, is when you have your quiz. You can certainly look over your terms in your notebooks. In the classwork section of Google Classroom, where the Quizlet link is, down at the bottom, or close to the bottom, whenever it loads up, you'll see that there's Eloquence flashcards that are set up in there as well. So by all means, go ahead and feel free to use those if you wish. For those of you going to assembly tomorrow, remember, you'll come here first, so you can at least kind of see the speech, take a look at it, and then just know on Friday is when we'll do our quick quiz. I think you'll find Friday's quiz easier than the one we did for the logical fallacies, because this one is just going definitions and terms as opposed to the example. Yeah.
Also, if you want, I can maybe Eloquence quiz tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah.